That's amazing. I need a backup for it. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Michael. Right, people who might ready to start, thumbs up. All right, we're going to start. Time is 6:32. We're happy with that? Yeah, great. Good evening, everyone. I now formally call the November meeting of the Leeton Shire Council to order, with the time being 6:32. We'd like to extend a warm welcome to all our councillors, staff, and members of the community, both in the gallery and enjoying us online. Thank you for your attendance this evening. It's nice to see the gallery full as well, or reasonably full. Very good. So we've got the video going. That's great. I would like to remind everyone that in keeping with our community to open, accessible and transparent government, this meeting of the Leeton Shire Council is being streamed live on council social media channels. The recording will also be made available on the council website following the meeting. At this time, I invite you to stand, and Councillor Tynan will lead us in the Lord's Prayer, followed by Councillor Kidd Country.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, glory, forever and ever. Amen.
The council acknowledges the people continued impact on our community. We acknowledge the nations of land or in the sky. We acknowledge all Aboriginal people who are coming to Leeton Shire. As such, we pay respects to all Aboriginal elders, past, present, and emerging in our shire. Thank you.
Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you. Are there any apologies tonight, GM?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we have an apology for lateness from Councillor Matum. She has confirmed that she's on her way. We have an apology and a request for leave of absence this evening from Councillor Nardi. And just for everyone's information, Councillor Tiffin and Councillor Morris are both online this evening.
Thank you, GM. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Mover, Councillor Tynan, and seconder, Councillor Edwards. Thank you very much. Thank you, councillors. Is everyone prepared to confirm the minutes from the last council meeting? I need a move and a second. Councillor Wright, followed by Councillor Keith.
This is arising for the.
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot to hand up to move the motion.
All good.
Right. So you want to speak to that motion minutes being passed?
Mr. Mayor, I have a matter arising. I note that in the unconfirmed minutes that not all councillor activity reports are recorded in the minutes of the last ordinary meeting. Clause 8.1 of the Code of Meeting Practice states that following the meeting, councillors will provide a verbal update of their activities for the month. The updates will be recorded and provided along with the recording of the council. Now that's actually even in bold compared to all the other texts in the Code of Conduct. I ask that when drafting the minutes for this and every subsequent meeting, that all activity reports, be it sent prior to the meeting or stay at the end of the meetings, be properly recorded in the minutes as per the Code of Meeting Practice.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We're happy to take instruction from council. The business of doing activity reports is not normal council Code of Meeting Practice. So Leeton Shire Council, as special dispensation, included it on the basis that councils provide their meeting updates prior to the meeting in time for the report to go out. So Melissa Seymour puts a notice out to all councillors asking for the information to be submitted by a certain date. And if it's not in, then in time, then it doesn't get included in the minutes. The practice traditionally has been for the mayor to allow people to speak verbally, but as per our previous practice, we do not record things that are not in the agenda. Certainly it'll be on the video recording.
Well, I suggest that we discuss the code meeting practice and try and redraft out the code, part of the code meeting practice as well, when the time comes to actually have a discussion around it.
That
I
would be fine, Mr.
Take it
Mayor.
as a comment, councillor. Thanks very much. All right, additional items. This evening, we have a slight revision to the document attached to item 9.3.1. Capital Works Update Report. Councillors, you will find a printed copy in front of you, and it has been recommended that item 9.4.1 is moved forward as the first staff report to council to accommodate public and staff representation on this item. Anybody willing to move? Anybody move second? Second by Councillor Tynan. So we're moving that item forward. Did you get that, people? The move and the second?
Apologies, Mr. Mayor. What was the move and seconder again?
I moved it, and the second by Councillor Tynan, that we'll bring those items forward, and that we got the late item centres. Right, the next part is disclosure of interest. Are there any disclosures of interest to be declared this evening? I have one. All right, we'll go for Councillor Edward first.
I rise to disclose a conflict of interest. The conflict of interest I have pertains to item 9.4.1, the development application for 13 Sycamore Street. I have what I believe to be a significant non-pecuniary conflict of interest in this matter, as I am a close family friend of an objector to the proposed development and a close family friend of their entire family. As such, I feel that I am unable to partake in discussions or vote on the item at hand because of the close nature of the relationships I hold. As such, I'll leave the chamber and when this item is discussed and considered. And I also have my signed declaration of interest on the table as well.
Thank you.
Councillor Mason.
Yes, I'd also like to declare an interest in item 9.4. My father is the president of the multicultural group, and that development application relates to a facility that would still have to be development in. So I will declare a pecuniary conflict of interest or a
Significant
yeah.
non-pecuniary. Yeah. Thank you.
And
Thank you. You'll declare a pecuniary conflict of interest in 9.1.1, which is the budget for the Roxy Theatre, as I'm the mechanical contractor, and I will leave the room. And Councillor Deputy Mayor Michael Keegan. Have a declares. Right. And now, Mayor Minute, tonight I have a verbal Mayor Minute. It is a happy and a sad minute as it relates to saying goodbye to Talia Patterson in her capacity as our local journalist with the Irrigator. Many a time I used to see her sitting on a little table over there, late nights. While we are very happy that Talia is not leaving town, we can't let her have final week in the role passed by acknowledgement. Her 16 years of reporting the news and sport and the arts of Leeton Shire. Talia would have reported on 4 to 5 items of council at that time and would no doubt have written about some other interesting debates over the years. What we have always appreciated in Talia is fair and a balanced reporting, and we think that the person who replaces you has the big shoes to fill. Talia, having an active, independent local newspaper is such an important part of the democracy, and you have served the community very well in that capacity. As a small token of appreciation, we wish you well and with your future plan, please accept these flowers as a token of Leeton Shire Council, appreciated for your excellent service over 1.5 decades. It makes me great pleasure personally to do that. You've been here what time I've been here, so it's good to see you.
You look this way. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Charlie. Thank you. Right, we'll now deal with 9.4.1. And I'll ask the manager of planning to come forward, that's right, and present. I missed something. I've got to hear.
Yes. Okay, thank you, sorry.
Okay. Right. That's okay, that's okay. All right, so I'll just finish what I'm going to say. Planning of Francois, thank you very much. Go first.
Mr. Mayor, councillors, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to present this report to council. So the applicant, who is also the property owner of this property, 15 Sycamore Street, is seeking development consent to change the use of a dwelling to a community facility. The proposed development includes the following: alterations to the existing dwelling with respect to its change of building classification from a dwelling to a community facility. They are also seeking consent to operate Monday to Friday from 7 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m, Sundays from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m, and public holidays 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Council's development section did not support these requested hours, and we recommended a reduced hours in the recommendation to this report. The applicant has submitted the following to explain the purpose of this community facility. The intention is to convert the residence into a community facility for the culturally and linguistically diverse communities of Leeton, as well as a central point for the Leeton Multicultural Support Group. For many years, Leeton and the Leeton Multicultural Support Group needed a central hub for these communities to meet, to have discussions, and to carry out small-scale activities. In summary, the primary purpose of the facility is a convenient contact point for these communities and newcomers to Leeton, and creating a place where they can seek assistance. It's a central office and the resources for the Multicultural Support Group and associated services, safe and secure spaces for the culturally and linguistic diverse members, and to meet with volunteer support workers in privacy. This is also a place where they can carry out small-scale cultural activities. In terms of land use, the property is zoned as R3 medium density residential land, and a community facility in this zone is permissible with consent. So that's an important aspect. It's not prohibited, it's permissible with consent. Council's local environmental plan actually provides us with a definition of a community facility. So a community facility is a building or a place owned or controlled by a public authority or non-profit community organization, and is used for the physical, social, cultural, or intellectual development or welfare of the community. And this is exactly what the proponent is trying to do. Due to the fact that this type of development is not something that you would normally see in a residential area, council notified the surrounding property owners of the proposed development to allow them to have their say. During the public submission period, we received 3 objections. I'm going to summarize the objections for council. The first one, there were concerns about traffic impacts. The use of the proposed development is considered to generate some additional traffic in the vicinity of the site. However, the impact is considered acceptable due to the small scale of this proposal. There were concerns about parking. The proposal complies with Council's development control plan for on-site parking. So they will provide free on-site car parks, which will include a disabled car park. And then across the road is a council car park with lots of parking. I would say the next concern is probably the most relevant one, which is there were concerns about noise. So the applicant is seeking about 100 hours of operation per week. Council's planning staff gave this due consideration, and we proposed a reduction in their hours of operation to 80 hours a week. And we are proposing that they operate Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on a Saturday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and on a Sunday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on public holidays 9 to 5 as well. So the conditions, we amended the conditions to reflect these hours that we propose. And there's also conditions included that relates to neighborhood noise and the levels at which the noise should be limited. There was also a concern about safety and security of residents. That was considered, and we feel that the proposed development will not have a negative impact on safety and security. And then there was a concern about loss of value in properties. The Land Environment Court already set a precedent that it's not a head of consideration when we do DAs. And we feel that the potential effect on property values is very difficult to quantify, and they are subject to market forces and a wide range of other factors. That is basically a summary of what's being proposed. So it's a change of use from a residence to a community facility. It's permissible with consent. I've said this many times, town planning is not an exact science. It's not just black and white. There's 50 shades of grey in between. And it's about getting that equilibrium and balance right so that it is permissible without affecting the amenity of the neighbourhood. So Council's Planning Department is recommending the approval of this DA subject to the conditions that's stipulated in the report.
Thank you, Manager. I note that we have 3 speakers in the this afternoon for the DA, Mr. Paul Maiden and Susie Rowe, and also Mrs. Dawn Hissey. So I'll ask Mr. Mayor, not Mayor. Susie Rowe to talk first, please, and just talk to us. Thank you.
Firstly, thank you for allowing me to speak to your council meeting.
Susie, 2 seconds. Sorry, I missed a step. I've adjourned the meeting, so we talk to the public. So go in now, Susie.
Okay. From the 3 neighbour submissions, it is clear that the main concern is about the hours of operation. I'd like to say that I was advised to write the extreme possibility of hours that the building might be used. Yeah. The times of operation included were to cover any possible eventuality. For this facility, it would not be the norm. The members of Leeton Multicultural Support Group sometimes need to meet someone outside the hours of 9 till 5. These are usually one-on-one meetings and could be on any day. There may also be interagency meetings on any day, including Sundays. However, certainly there will not be people at the building regularly coming and going, especially at night. Building will be used on some weekends or possibly public holidays. It will not necessarily be used every weekend or public holiday. In consideration of the neighbours' concerns, I would like to request an alternative wording to the hours of operation, please. These being Monday to Friday, Sundays and public holidays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. with a limit of 10 people on site after 7 p.m. Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. with a limit of 25 people on site after 7 p.m. One Friday or Saturday in a calendar month, 9 a.m. till 9:30 with a limit of 25 people on site after 7 p.m. Again, the facility will not be used consistently at these times. However, we need to allow for possibilities that might arise within our communities. We need to be able to accommodate the volunteer work that Leeton Multicultural Support Group do and the lack of alternative venues outside normal business hours. The operator of the facility will create guidelines for conduct and use, including any restrictions about activities, noise levels, numbers of people involved, and the hours of operation, and will give these to any users of the facility. Guidelines written will be considerate, respectful, and mindful of neighbours and the reputation of Leeton and the work for which Leeton Multicultural Support Group is already recognised. The operator could keep a complaints register and advise council within 48 hours of any complaints from neighbours and how the matter was dealt with. If it can't be resolved at the time, the operator would seek mediation from council. Larger events will not be held at 15 Sycamore Street. They will be held in venues like they've been held in the past. I understand that until all conditions of the DA are met, the building remains as a residence or dwelling house, as it's referred to, and can be used as such by the owners. Thank you for your time. I do hope you will reconsider these matters before you grant consent to the recommendations as they are currently written. I'd be happy to respond to any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Any questions of Mrs. Rowe, Councillor Tynan?
Oh,
You want me up here?
I don't want nothing. I'm just wondering how, so the original, Francois said it was originally 100 hours per week. Then it was put down to 80. How would that decrease in 20 hours per week affect your work?
I hadn't actually heard of those hours until just now, and I hadn't added them up. And I haven't added up the hours that are contained in these new proposed hours. Have you, Steve? Have you added that up?
No, Francois, that was originally So this one here, it's 5 by 12, I think. So Monday to Friday, 8 to, so that's 12 and a half. 12 and a half times 5, that's 60, 66. Plus 12, that's 80, 89, something like that. So that's verging up to near 100 hours.
Actually, how many hours?
With me, I'll just calculate for you.
No, we're just writing down.
Do you mean, Steve, as opposed to what was put in the DA, 7 till 10?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it was originally 100 hours a week.
In the DA, 7 till 10, etc.
And then it was proposed by the council to, I think, 80 hours per week, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Okay.
So,
It just-
I've added it up. The proposed hours that Susie has just outlined are 87.
87, okay. I'm just wondering how going from 100 to your new proposed hours of 87 hours, what effect that drop in 13 hours would have on your work?
I don't think it will make a big difference. As already stated, those hours that were put into the original DA were hours that were advised for any possibility. However, with all the considerations, we think if we go with these hours, it'll be enough.
So you're aware of one complaint that had proposed hours of operation from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on weekdays and then from 8 to 1 on Saturdays. How would that affect your operations, those times?
Can you repeat those times that were in the submission? Until 8 o'clock at night.
So from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. weekdays and then 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on a Saturday.
Yeah, so that would affect because we sometimes need, at the moment, don't have a venue. And so if we can't go to like a public venue that's open during business hours, sometimes we're forced to go to people's houses, and that impacts on families. It's not private, it's not practice. And Leeton Multicultural Support Group already has recognition, and we want to build that recognition as a more professional body. So having our own venue and operating with practical hours, we may need to meet somebody at 6 o'clock. We may need to meet somebody after their work at 6:30 or 7. So finishing at 6 o'clock would affect the intention of the facility. And on Saturdays, again, up until 1, we would like to use the facility for volunteer English classes, different activities. So to complete all that by 1 may not work very well because some people are working on Saturday morning.
Okay. That was just a question about the hours. Any more questions of Mrs. Rowe?
Can I ask a question, please, Susie?
Yes.
Hello.
Sarah. Hello, Sarah.
How are you? Thank you for coming to present to us. Would it be true to say that nominating 7 to 10 is to provide for contingencies, given that the people that you're working with and supporting and acknowledging that the work you do enriches the town as a whole and builds cohesion and connection and harmony? The 7 to 10 is to, accommodate when there might be, emergency situations later in the evening. And a lot of our new migrants are shift workers, and sometimes they're presented with unexpected challenges that are very difficult and complex for them to disentangled by themselves. So the broader opening hours is a sort of nominal, a nominal sort of operating hours to try to capture all those different contingencies. And it may be as the work and the cultural centre, you know, develop and mature, there might be more clarity about hours as time goes on. But that 10 p.m. is not really too late in terms of, you know, meeting the need of a young mother who might be worried about some visa issue, and indeed to allow events to occur with a reasonable sort of finishing time, you know, so that you can actually have time to have a nice event and pack up and, you know.
Councillor Tiffin, is that a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify from Susie that the hours 7 to 10 have a sort of, you know, that they have thought behind them, like that's the intention. The 7 to 10 is to sort of try and, you know, capture the needs of that particular clientele that you're working with.
Thank you, Sarah. Yes, I think everything that you've said is very relevant, and going forward, we may find that we need to extend the hours. However, in consideration of the submissions that have been put to us, or put to me, and this development, I think if we can allow Saturdays and Sundays as well, it won't help in an emergency, you're right. But for meeting with people, instead of meeting or having that extra time until 10 p.m, if that's not going to work for the community, then we will have a work around that. Because we do face emergencies, and we cope with them as they come along. Does that answer?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and not just emergencies, but just that, you know, I mean, I have, you know, I've been in meetings where people are coming to the library and they work shift work. They have sort of, you know, they don't have 7 to 6 or 9 to 6 hours. So you need to be able to be available for the needs of, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Councillor Tyler first, and then Councillor Wright second.
Question to Francois.
We might wait for the council. Yeah, when we go back to the council. The idea now is ask those questions of the submissions, or clarify things submission, and then later on we'll debate the legal parts of it with the planner. Councillor Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Susie, would you have any intention of using the outdoor spaces of the property after 7 p.m? And also, would it be correct to say that there won't be any clients of the multicultural support group without a volunteer or worker of the multicultural support group present as well?
Two questions. One, any activities will be in the conditions of use. So it would be up to the Leeton Multicultural Support Group to answer that rather than me as a developer. So as far as people going outside on site at those hours.
Sort of mean in the backyard, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about as well. As far as them going out to the backyard, eventually there will be a disability toilet out there. So yes, they'll probably be going out there. As far as having parties in the backyard, Leeton Multicultural Support Group can limit that within their guidelines of use, because they will address noise. They will address the considerations of neighbours and things. So that's that one. And the other one, what was the second half?
would it be correct to say that there wouldn't be clients of the multicultural support group without there also being volunteer from the multicultural support group
yes,
at the same time?
yes, that could certainly happen. If there were a cultural group there for a small activity, yes, we shouldn't have to be there. Leeton Multicultural Support Group shouldn't have to be there, or somebody from another agency, Red Cross or whoever. We would hope that it would be available to people from different cultural communities.
It sounds like most of the time, though, there would be a responsible person on site.
Yes, there would. And that would be in the agreement as part of the conditions of use. They would, the church halls, get you to sign an agreement for conditions of use. The Leeton Multicultural Support Group would create something like that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions for Susie Rowe?
Susie, lost it. It had to do with time.
It might come forward, Councillor Tyne, when Paul Maiden has his 3 minutes talk.
I forgot my question.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, may I ask a question?
Oh, sorry, I missed you, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Susie, for your presentation. We're just looking and discussing hours. Have you actually looked at the proposed DA regulation of the hours that, apart from the 3 submissions you received and their recommendation of hours, what council has actually proposed for approved hours, being the 7 to 7, 6 days a week and 9 till 5 on a Sunday? I do appreciate emergencies happen, but they also happen outside the hours of 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. They happen 24 hours a day. So would not being operational for 7 days a week, as proposed at the moment with the DA conditions, not assist in those one-offs that occur late at night? And the fact that council are giving permission as proposed at the moment for 7 days does give a lot of opportunity to catch up with those that you need to meet with. So I guess it's just, have you an awareness of what the approval is as council has proposed at this point in time, separate to the 3 submissions you received?
Do you mean, have I read the report? Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yes, I have. Yeah. And so this response is in response to that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Tracy.
Thank you, Susie Rowe. Paul Maiden, would you like to come forward? I meant to say we've all got 3 minutes, unfortunately, my friend. Nothing further.
Yeah, good evening, councillors. My name's Paul Maiden and I'm here to support the DA. I'm here tonight to speak in support of the DA for 15 Sycamore Street and to particularly ask that you amend the proposed operating hours suggested by the assessing officer. As you may know, I'm the president of the Leeton Multicultural Support Group. As volunteers, we work tirelessly to support people to and living in Leeton from other countries, moving to and living in Leeton from other countries, people who are essential for meeting our critical workforce needs in Leeton Shire. Our farmers especially could not get their work done without migrant labour. Leeton Shire Council has itself promoted Leeton as a refugee-friendly zone, and you are also an accredited member of Welcoming Australia. The previous and current mayor have championed the formation of a mayoral Pacific Alliance in an effort to ensure the scheme works for migrants, host communities and the government. Supporting migrant communities to settle and belong is very much supported by the Community Strategic Plan and has long been included in the Council Delivery Program. Up until now, the Leeton Multicultural Support Group has not had a home from which to do our important work. None of these spaces are available for us to make our own or to invite the people we assist to sit and have a cuppa, which we do and is a big part of what we do. We have had to use several different venues over the years for our own meetings, interagency meetings, and also with the clients. On occasions, we have had to meet people in our own private homes. That's very rarely, but it has happened occasionally, which can be an impost on our families, and it's not what I believe is right for us to do. We have now been blessed with the generous offer of a dedicated house by a benefactor to meet our needs, and those are the people that we assist. It is important that this new facility can be available when we actually need it. I consider the service that we do to be enormously helpful to Leeton Shire Council, and believe that if we didn't do what we did, far more of a burden would fall to the council. As Susie has stated in her response to the objectors, the form she was required to fill in made her declare the busiest case scenario. So just remember that is the busiest case. Myself as the president and the volunteer work I do, that is very rare, but it had to be there. So it's the busiest case scenario ever possible at the house, not the norm. And I know because I've been doing it for years. This has given people the wrong impression about how busy it will be. So truly, I just want you to think about that. It will be in reality, and the exception to the rule has now wrongly been assumed as what will be planned to happen at the house every day. What is the point of having this facility if we cannot respond in a timely way to the real needs or opportunities that present to us? I support the hours of operation that Susie has suggested, bearing in mind it would only be on the odd occasion that we would need to have these hours available. To limit us to 7 p.m. puts us back where we are now, meeting people in our own homes, which is exactly what we're trying to fix. Please note, this house has not been acquired to hold major social events. Those large events and festivals will continue to be held at public parks, community halls and local churches, etc. Our social events at the house would be no bigger than any neighbour having a barbecue to celebrate a birthday, and would be very occasional. And I just want to make the point that that house allows for anyone to purchase a house like you can in any house in Leeton. It's on sale. Any family can move in, a large family can move in. The house can be purchased. It can be rented to any number of people that may be all going to work at different times of the night, coming home at different times of the night, and having parties. So I just want you to take that in mind. This, the type of stuff we're talking about, that doesn't happen where we make noise. When we talk about our Harmony Day celebrations and other events we have, never, these people are passive people. You've got to live it, how I live it, to see these people how they are. They don't come in with guns blasting and music blaring and all that sort of stuff, you know, and certainly not in this residence that we're talking about. It is my strong contention that this multicultural facility in Sycamore Street won't add anywhere near the noise impact on the residential area than what already exists. I would go as far as saying this facility would be more passive than many residential dwellings in our shire, which I just said. Cars can be coming and going at any time of night in any residential dwelling right now, and they can keep on doing it. This here is controlled, it's managed, it's passive. It'll be on the odd occasion that there'll be any movement at all, and the latter, you know, in the night time. So I just put it to you, think about that. So councillors, please, can you consider changing the operating hours that will help us to achieve our direct and real operating needs? Limiting our operating hours to 7 p.m. is not going to work practically. We're not the type of community centre that will be open all day, every day. We will only open when we need to be open, and given the nature of our clients and their working obligations, as well as the availability of our volunteers, which is a big thing. I'm a volunteer. We've got our life to live too, but we're doing our best to support these people in our community. I think people need to take that into consideration. We don't have a mountain of people out there to help us. We've got to try and juggle what we do in a day with our families and others, and also try to help to manage these people. So just remember, it's only in the extreme occasions that we'd be operating in hours that are later into the night, because we have our own lives to live. We will only open when we need to be open, and given the nature of our clients, and I've said that, as well as the availability of volunteers, we sometimes must, yes, I've said that. Lastly, there is also a requirement in the draft approval to tar seal the driveway. This is also unnecessary, as the driveway already has perfectly good concrete paths that deal with the sound of the tyres. This is an expense that is not warranted, and I urge you to remove that from the DA conditions. Again, I remind council that the amount of traffic we expect on average would be far less than an ordinary dwelling. I question the need to have a third parking spot on the property. If council still wishes for the driveway and the third parking spot to be sealed, we respectfully ask that council pays for the sealing as your contribution to this facility that we are creating to meet an important community need identified in the community strategic plan. Thank you for your time. I hope common sense will prevail and that we can conduct our business practically and in a way that meets the real community needs. And I just want to finish by saying, I'm so appreciative to people like Susie and the very few people that are helping us with our multicultural support group. Look at what we have in our town. And look at the support that we've offered. Look at the outcomes that we've given. We've got people here that came here. They didn't know where to go. They didn't know what to do. They feel so comforted when they can meet with us and we welcome them into the Shire and give them some hope and assist the children going to school, getting into school, and a whole host of other things. So I just want councillors to be aware that we are a very small
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor. We seem to have lost sound. Councillor Tiffin, are you finding the same?
Can you hear us now, Councillor Morris?
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Can you hear me now? Can you
Yeah,
hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just tap the Paul Mason. Councillor Tynan.
Paul, on these new hours, one Friday or Saturday, 9 a.m. to 9:30 p.m, was that once a month or I just forget the unit?
I don't know, whatever was said. Is there a concern about?
No, I'm just asking a clarification, Paul.
Well, I don't know. I've got what's the hours again, Susie?
So yes, Steve. Would you like me to read them again?
No, it's just on the notes here.
Yes.
Stated the unit.
So,
That's
yes.
clarifying.
So it's one Friday or Saturday in a calendar month, 8 a.m. till 9:30, with a limit of 25 people. And again, this won't be consistently used. It's only on an occasion, and we're seeking to provide that opportunity.
I only asked because it wasn't clear here, that's all.
Okay, right.
Any more questions of Paul Mason? Thank you, Paul. Thank you Paul, for your submission. I'd like to call forward now the opponent, Dawn Hissey. Can you? I'm sorry to limit you to 3 minutes. It's very
going to take more than 3 minutes because everybody else did also. Well, I'm here to object to the proposal of 15 Sycamore Street. I live at 11 Sycamore Street and I find the street at the moment to be quite a lovely street. But with another, how many people, 40 to 50 people expected in a day and number of clients expected at any one time, 25 to 30. I'm sorry, it's just not on. It's a residential area. It wasn't, if they want a multicultural area, go to another part of the town where you can have another facility. This is a residential area and that's what I bought into. I didn't come to buy and there's people wandering around from till 10 o'clock at night. What's my safety? What's my safety? That I don't know these people. I've got nothing against anyone that comes into our town, but I don't know why we have to have a property that was residential. Why buy it? if you want to change it into something that it's not? Why don't you buy something in an area that you can have the facility that you want? Go out to the estate and have it in the industrial estate. There's plenty of buildings and room out there, and you could be there all night if you wanted. It's not going to bother anybody. But it will bother me and other people that I have spoken to in the area. We don't want people wandering around from 7 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. Even the bottle shop over the road doesn't open till 11 o'clock. And last night it closed at 8 o'clock. So I don't see why we have to have these ridiculous hours and the amount of people. And I'm sorry, it's all very vague. Everything that's said is very vague. Oh, well, I don't know how many people will be this and that, and we might have to stay open and so forth. I'm sorry, it's not an ordinary, it's just not an ordinary facility. And the building itself is not even fire rated. I mean, they're going to have to do a lot of work to that place with all these people coming and going. You're going to have fire ratings on between the fence and the building. I've been in it. I know exactly what the building's like. But the whole proposal is very, very vague, I'm sorry. And but the amount of people coming and going is it's absolutely ridiculous for a residential area. And as I said, I love living there. I don't want to have to move. It's my home. It's where I was going to stay till I'm dead. And yeah, so I'm very, very disappointed, very, very disappointed, and I strongly, strongly object. And I don't think many other people would want 40 to 60 people wandering around in a day. I just don't get it. I'm sorry, that property is a residential property, regardless if you have barbecues in the backyard, whatever. It doesn't matter. That was a residential area. And the property should have been bought in an area that can have a facility like this. There's plenty of places in Leeton to go for that. They don't need it in a residential area. You've already got the towers there. What happens when the housing department decide to fix up the rest of the apartments there? You're going to have another how many people wandering around? So I have to say, I have had not 1 ounce of any type of problem with anyone from the power block there, because they just come and go. They're in bed asleep by about 7 o'clock at night anyway. So all these other people wandering around, not happy, just not happy. I'm sorry, I am very disappointed, very, very disappointed. And I strongly, strongly object. Thank you.
Thank you, Susie. We'd like to take some questions. Susan, not Susan. Dawn?
Yes?
Would you like some questions asked?
Yes, you can ask whatever.
Councillor, right to ask. Do you want any questions to her submission?
Could I ask a question? Sorry, what is it, Mrs. Hissey? I'm sorry, Dawn.
Ms.
Hissey, yes. Hi, Councillor Tiffin here. Just I wonder how you found, like, Sycamore Street is a lovely street. It's very close to Main Street. And I used to live quite close to there, and often there'd be people coming from the pub and all sorts of stuff. And I have also experienced quite a bit of, public disturbance from the red brick tower block, and witnessed many things over the years. And I just wonder what you think the difference is between, a sort of nurturing community centre and that tower block, and indeed quite close to there as well, the River of Life Church, which of course, often there are lots of people going to that through the week and on a Sunday morning. So I just wondered what you perceive to be the difference between a community centre to support multicultural community members and the tower blocks and the church.
I don't have a problem with the church. I go to church myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see
a
problem
lot
with
of the
church.
people, a lot of the
multicultural.
people who are in our migrant communities are extremely church focused and very devout, so yeah, I just wondered if you'd had some, if you see a difference between this proposal and some of the other sort of.
I don't see the relevance with what you're saying with regard to a church and a Christian centre and people going to it on a Sunday. I'm sorry, but that just doesn't cut it. But with regard to the tower block, I see probably 8 or 10 people from there a day wandering, and they just cross the road, go to the Salvation Army, wander back home again. There has never been any problem at all. But that's a few people, not 40 to 50 people in a day and 25 to 30 at one time.
Yeah, I think, but
there's a lot of difference. There's a lot of difference in what you're saying.
As Susie and Paul just explained, that would be a quite a rare occurrence. Is what
Yes,
my perception is.
that's for the moment. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, that whole proposal is very vague. That's very vague. Very vague. I'm sorry, very vague. And that can change at any one time. Any one time. So thank you anyway. And I also think the council's got a responsibility to the ratepayers in that particular area. It wasn't, that's not a facility. That house is not a facility for all these people to be coming and going. Go out to the industrial estate. Find somewhere else in a proper area that was already zoned for what is required.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thank
Any more questions of Dawn? Is it, no? Right, I take, we had all the questions asked now. Can I have a move in a second? We move back into council. Council, right, okay, Tony, good. Move a seconder. Right, before we open discussion, do all the councils agree that this DA should be approved in principle? We can discuss the conditions afterwards. All in favour? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I thought we were going to have an opportunity to ask questions of the staff.
No, the staff will be inside the actual meeting, council meeting. We talk to the public and then we come back in.
So through you, Mr. Mayor, so councillors, the mayor's asked if in principle councillors want to support it. If there's a councillor that doesn't want to support it, if they could say so now, and then the mayor will change direction to calling for the manager to speak for the reasons that the councillor doesn't want to support it. Or alternatively, when you get down to the conditions, then you can ask the manager a question about the conditions. So there's still lots of opportunity to ask the manager. The mayor's just asking in principle, does council, are you of a mind, or is the mayor having to deal with people not wanting to support the DA in principle?
So is this a motion, or do you just want us to a straw?
We are asking you generally, is everybody in favour of the actual recommendation in principle? You can talk about the conditions afterwards.
Yes.
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 Councillor Morris, yeah,
Yes.
correct. By the way.
Yes.
All right. So thank you very much. Now we've talked about in principle. Are there any council would like to amend any condition for what has been recommended?
I'd like to make an amendment to the times. Could you bring the times back up, please? I'd like to amend the times to be 8 AM to 7 PM, Monday to Friday. The once a month, Friday or Saturday from 8 AM to 9:30. I would accept that there. And the Sunday time I'd like to amend from 9 to 5.
Can I ask a sort of process question to
Yeah,
Mr.
ask a
Mayor?
question.
Yeah.
I'm going to just say, at the moment, we've got a movement of amendment, that would be a seconder, but are you going to discuss it or ask the question?
Well, can we disagree with the amendment, or do we do that later?
No, did you ask a question? Councillor Tiffin?
So through you, Mr. Mayor, the amendment that's been proposed needs a seconder
Yeah.
before it can be discussed.
Have you finished with those times, Councillor Simon? Are they clear those times? A seconder for those times.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, could I just clarify something with the proposed change amendment?
Yeah.
Just on every other Saturday, revert to the 8 AM to 7 PM and just the once a month, that Friday or Saturday, taking it to the 9:30 PM.
Councillor Tyler, do you understand that? Are you agreeing to that? Are you then a seconder to that amendment? Councillor Morris?
Yes, subject to, sorry, I just would like to understand, so that once a month, extending it to 9:30, is there a limitation on the number of people that can be in attendance at the house, please?
I think it's 25.
It was 25? Just 2 seconds.
And sorry, Simon, can you confirm was Saturday also 8 till 7 PM? Like a normal Saturday,
Yes, 8 to 7 p.m.
8 to 7 PM, and then the Sunday would be 9.
We're just clarifying the actual times that the proposed amendment. We haven't got a seconder yet. Oh, we haven't got a seconder, but we're going to agree with the amendment times.
So through Mr. Mayor, the highlighted yellow bits is the amendment that councillor Tynan has proposed.
I can't see that, sorry, through Mr Mayor.
All right, just 2 seconds. I just want to double check if councillor Tynan is happy with what his amendment figures are first.
Could we read what the hours are again so I can write them down, what he's suggesting? Sorry. Through Mr Mayor.
Yeah, I think public holidays should remain public. The final part of that amendment would be to remove public holidays.
To what, so not open on public holidays through Mr Mayor?
Yeah, just that give us time to get this first part done, and then we'll talk about after, because he needs a seconder for a start, which councillor Morris has sort of half put her hand up. She's just going to listen to the rest of the amendment that councillor Tynan is putting together.
Mr. Mayor, I don't think, I think councillor Tiffin also wants to hear exactly what's being proposed.
Yeah,
in detail.
Yeah, thank you.
So that she has the opportunity to decide whether she has.
Yeah, but we haven't got the amendment. That's not even up yet at the moment. We're just getting the amendment together.
But what are the hours that you're proposing, Steve, through Mr Mayor?
Monday to Friday, 8 AM to 7 PM.
Right.
One Friday or Saturday a month from 8 AM to 9:30 PM, the maximum of 25 people.
Mm.
Saturday from 8 AM to 7 PM. Sunday 9 to 5. And to remove public holidays.
Right. And through Mr Mayor, if someone seconds that, do we then argue to toss about it, or is that?
That is true, but just 2 seconds. So we've got someone, you move that now. Councillor Morris, you sort of half put your hand up for a second amendment. Are you happy with that information?
Oh, thank you, Mr Mayor. I was just adding up the hours on a normal week, and I guess I'm just asking that I'm agreeing with councillor Tynan that I have got interpreted this correctly. On a normal 3 weeks out of the month, we're looking at 74 hours a week operational, and that fourth week, for example, on that Friday or Saturday, we'd extend the hours by 2.5 to make it 76, 77 hours. I would like to just take it back to the 9 PM, and I think 9:30 is kind of extending it. I feel comfortable if councillor Tynan could find that acceptable.
Yes.
All right, so councillor Morris is seconding the amendment.
Can councillor Tynan have the last clarification of that time for that once a month? Before I do?
Yes.
Till 9 PM?
Yes, till 9 PM.
And through Mr. Mayor, I just also for the record need to clarify the maximum of 25 people is, I assume, beyond 7 PM. So
Yes.
if it's normally, thank you.
All right, guys, moving a second for amendment. I'd like the amendment to be read out so everyone knows exactly what we're talking about. So if someone pass it to me and I'll read it out. But we've got two councillors that haven't got a screen, so that's the problem. The amendment will be the approved hours of occupation for this. Hang on, we're just going to do more typing. We're still getting to organise the wordsmith.
There's no need for the statement maximum 25 people after 7 p.m. on Monday to Friday because the times finish at 7 p.m.
Yes, it was only, yes, correct. It's only the Saturday that had the maximum. Thank you. No.
Are we right?
Yes, Mr.
All right, Councillor Tyler, can you just make sure that is correct before I read it then? That's correct. Councillor Morris and Councillor Tiffin probably can't see it. I'll read it out to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Thank you.
The above hours of operation for the development are Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Once a month, Friday or Saturday, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Maximum 25 people after 7 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sunday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Public holidays to be removed. Public holidays. So do all the council understand what we're going to debate?
Yeah.
Good, thank you. Anybody we have had a speaker for the amendment? Councillor Tom?
I propose these hours to acknowledge Sean. Also, I think some of the hours were just outside, like too extensive. I do understand that people, lots of immigrant refugee people have working hours, but I think to go through to the later hours that were proposed is probably a bit too much. And it's my opinion that these hours here would work just as well. The total number of hours, I believe, is not too much different from what was proposed before.
Thank you. Anybody against the amendment?
yes, I would like to speak against the amendment. Sorry, Nick, if you need to go, you go first if you want.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to vote against this amendment with respect to Councillor Tynan, because I believe that the multicultural support group has put forward a compelling argument for a genuine community need. And I also have great respect for them as individuals and trust in their intention to be good neighbours and to comply with all of the development conditions, which are more than just the hours. There are all kinds of conditions that include noise and things like that. So I don't see how they could achieve their function, achieve their mission of helping people if they couldn't be there on weekdays after 7 p.m. Just don't see it.
Thank you, councillor. Then a speaker for. No more speakers for. We go to speaker against, councillor Tiffin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to say that I consider that this project is extremely generous and well-considered project, and it is in line with all objectives in our community strategic plan and everything we hope for our town. And to have a centrally located, well-appointed, safe, secure and accessible venue to support not just our migrant communities, but to enrich our whole community, I think is a real gift to the town, and it will add to it will create like energy in the town centre, it will build cohesion, and it will actually, I think it would actually raise the amenity of that part of town, given that, you know, there are some elements that are notoriously just bring disturbances in that part of town. And I think having, you know, family-oriented, devout, kind, caring people gathering together, helping each other, I think that is all positive. And in counter to Steve's amendments, I propose that we trial the original suggested hours in the original application to allow our multicultural group, which has such a great reputation, to build and develop their work, which is a huge accolade to our town. And, you know, it reflects extremely well on council, and it reflects extremely well on many of the other groups in town, and the giving back that the migrant communities do for us and have since the start of our town. So I would like to see 7 to 10 at the original hours trialed, and then we can do a review after 3 months or 6 months. And I think public holidays are notoriously a time in town where it can be quite lonely. People still have needs. And I also think that, you know, what these guys are proposing will be the least noisy of so many noisy possibilities. So, and I think it will enrich that part of the town in a way that, you know, the neighbours will benefit from and we'll all benefit from.
Thank you, councillor Tiffin. What will happen, councillor Tiffin, is that we'll debate this amendment, and if the amendment is lost, we go back to the original recommendation, but we'll debate the amendment first. So we've had a mover and a seconder. We had speaker for and two speakers against. I go to speak. You have the right to reply by councillor Tynan. Anybody else wants to speak for the amendment? I'll move to councillor Tynan, and we'll close the right to reply for the amendment before we vote.
So while I agree with everything that the other councillors have raised about the value and the contributions, the very positive contributions of our diverse community to Leeton, it still is a residential area. I think we must keep that in mind as well. And I think the proposed hours of the amendments are an effective trade-off.
All right, so you understand the amendment. We're going to vote for the amendment, not the rest of the report, the amendment first. So all in favour of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
you should show your hands nice and high. Who are they? 1, 2. Those against? Show your hands, please. 1, 2, 3. Show my hand as well. 4. So the amendment has been lost. Now we go back to the original hours which are in the report. Any councillor want to move an amendment for any other part of this report?
It's for the hours, Mayor.
The hours only?
These hours are more limited than the hours that we're being recommended.
Yeah, well, that's right. That's right. Well,
So you might want to.
We're back to the full recommendation which has those hours in them.
Can I, this is through Mr. Mayor, may I ask a question just so that I know what I'm doing?
Procedure, yes.
So the hours that were in the original application, the 7 to 10 and 9 to 10.
Application, or are you talking about the report?
The application was.
Application. Oh,
Yeah, I think Susie's original application had that, you know, a wider hours. But now that the amendment has failed, are we reverting back to the proposed hours?
If you
from Francois?
If you pass the recommendation from the manager of planning as is, those are the hours, unless any other council want to change any part of those conditions.
So can I, Mr. Mayor, may I move an amendment to?
Yeah, move an amendment. If you just
state Susie's hours that were originally proposed as a trial.
All right, can we see those hours? And then you need a seconder.
Mr. Mayor, those are them.
The original hours, not original, so the hours that Susie put forward, 7 to 10, Monday to Friday.
Yep.
9 to 10, Saturday. 9 to 9, Sunday. I think we're about public holiday here.
Yep, 9 to 6. And noting that they were very clear that they, you know, it's not like they're going to be there every day.
So, Councillor Tiffin, you're moving the hours that the proponent has put forward. You'll need a seconder for being debated. Seconded by Councillor Wright. Now we're going to debate this. So, Councillor Tiffin, you moved the amendment. So, will you speak to it, please?
Yes, of course, and I might be repeating myself here, apologies, but I think that this initiative is only good for the town, and it's not just about supporting vulnerable immigrant groups, but it's providing a focus and recognizing what they bring to our town as well. I think that it's an extremely generous offer by a private individual to bequeath a new cultural facility to the town, and it will be used not just by immigrant new members of the community, but it will create a focus for cohesion and belonging and raise understanding, and that may include raising the understanding of the neighbours who may not fully understand the purpose of the building, but it's only going to bring joyful, positive energy to that part of town. It is residential, but it's residential hard up against the car park, the salvos, the bottle shop, the pub. It's on the very outskirts of our whole town centre. And I think that given the standing of the people who run the LMSG and the incredible work that they've done over many years, in recognition of them and out of respect to them, we should entrust them with, having the hours they need to be open, and potentially, putting in an addendum that we will, meet with them and see how things are going over in the first 3 to 6 months.
I think that's different. You'll have a right to reply at the end, of course. Anybody against it first? Speak for it. The mover speaks when we go against. Anybody against it? Councillor Tyler, Councillor Wright, you'll be after.
I still think it's important to recognise that this is a residential area. People have made investments in the areas, circumstances change to a degree. But I think people who bought their properties in all good faith, it would being a residential area, should have a fair degree of expectation of maintaining that into the future. I do acknowledge it's a very important part of the community and it serves a very big need. But the hours as they stand from 7 to 10, they are outside normal residential hours. And I just think it's unacceptable for those hours to be present there. I understand that not everyone can get to a meeting straight after work. And so there does have to be an extension past normal business hours, but to 10 p.m, I think is too much.
Thank you, Councillor Tyler. Someone for the amendment? Councillor Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The property is located in an R3 zoning area, which is a medium density residential. The zone provides for mixed use by approval. It's not a designated mixed use area, but it is one of the densest, possibly the densest zoning we have in a small town like Leeton. There's a reason why it's zoned that way. It's because it abuts the central business district. I don't find the argument of hours of operation being different to a normal residential area as compelling, because there's been no compelling argument that people entering and exiting the venue would cause any more noise than, as former Mayor Mr. Paul Mayton has pointed out, a resident of that house as a dwelling house could have people coming in and out at all times of night. The R3 residential zone implies a lot of things, and it has been in place for quite a while. I think any property owner in that zone can reasonably expect that there would be more than just individual detached family homes, and it would not be as quiet as a suburban area. In fact, it already isn't as quiet as a suburban area. It has other facilities that operate much later, and the property owners in the R3 zone also get the benefits of the R3 zone, which means that their properties can be valued much higher. So they could develop it into multi-dwelling units much more easily, and that adds value to their property. So I think there's a reason why the prior use and the property value kind of argument is rejected by the state government in the legislation. It's that it is irrelevant. I don't think we should be holding this facility to a higher standard than we hold anything else. And I really concur with Councillor Tiffin's arguments that this is about respecting the people who are going to be running the facility. I don't think we should be assuming that it will be noisy or disruptive with no evidence that it will be noisy and disruptive purely based on the operating hours. I think if it becomes noisy and disruptive, there are many avenues of recourse for residents. And I know that we have very attentive council staff who will respond to that, and justice is certainly available for residents near this proposal. So I really would impress for my fellow councillors that denying someone a very innocent and good faith use of a property, it's a much bigger decision than simply allowing something to happen. It takes I think the weight on the side of it's a much more weighty decision, a much more impactful decision the negative aspects of denying a development approval than it would be to approve it. The risk of approving it is so low, and the risk to the peaceful enjoyment of the proprietor, if we don't approve their opening hours, is very high.
Thank you, councillor. Right, now we've had speaker for, speaker against, we've had one speaker against. Anybody like to speak against the amendment? I'll be clear about the amendment.
Mr. Mayor, I will
Councillor.
speak against the amendment. And not for all the usual reasons. I get what this is all about. I get the resident idea too. I'm fairly happy, honestly, with the recommendation as in the original papers. I like, I think we should be incorporating the extended hours, one Friday or Saturday a month. I think that's a great idea. I do think that probably going until 10 PM is a bit late, but certainly not a working day. And I definitely agree the centre needs to be open on public holidays. I think perhaps Sunday at 9 PM is again perhaps a little bit late. So I would vote against that. Doesn't foreshadowing, you know.
Did you have one? Yeah, right. Oh, sorry. You have a foreshadowing. Good. All right. So I've had 2 speakers for and 2 against. You have the right to reply, Councillor Tiffin, before you put the amendment forward.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you everyone for your well-considered contributions to this discussion. I really think that we, council already has a reputation of being innovative for coverage, and, community cohesion is absolutely central to what we try to achieve as a council, but also as a community. And this is such an innovation and such a blessing that someone is offering to provide a new cultural venue that will interface with all the other cultural venues that are sitting in, in our in our town hub, the Roxy, LMAG, the library, the Hydro. I think that, the concern about 10 PM for people who live a stone's throw from the L&D, the Hydro and the Wade, and I think we all personally have had experiences of the ruckus that can come down the street as a result of, when they're open. And this venue will be the most sort of modest and devout and, a gentle presence. And I actually think it might enrich the lives of the neighbours who are concerned at the moment. They might actually accidentally find themselves mixing and mingling with those kind of people. I think we have to also be careful that our decisions aren't shaped by the fact that we're talking about new migrants who, maybe people aren't as comfortable about.
Yeah.
So, and I would like to, I don't know how we word it, but we could give it a trial. We give them a chance, be open till 10, see how it works, come back and revisit. That's what I would like to see happen.
Thank you, Councillor Tiffin. So they're quite clear on the hours behind me.
Mr. Mayor, I have a procedural question.
Yes.
Would it be the mover of the amendment able to make amendments to their amendment before we vote?
She can change, and I'm second it's happy to change that.
Because is this the appropriate part? Is this amendment, if it were to put a...
Because you second the motion, right, amendment, you can ask your move the amendment.
Oh, right.
To
Councillor Tiffin.
Yes, Councillor Wright.
Long as not too radical.
You suggested to have a trial period of 3 to 6 months. Would you be open to amending your amendment to include a date of review?
Absolutely, yeah.
Through Mr. Mayor.
Hang on.
I don't believe trial periods are available, but I'll just, if we could double check with the planning manager, please.
Manager planning,
Is there any provision in the Act for a trial time period?
Mr. Mayor, I'm not 100% sure. I'm aware of certain DAs that provided for trial periods, so it's not, according to my knowledge, illegal.
Okay, all right, so it can proceed. Thank you.
yep, go ahead.
So,
Yeah, so Nick, councillor Wright, and through you, Mr. Mayor, if we all agree on a date, that just gives assurances to the concerns.
I would suggest, Mr. Mayor, I would suggest a future council meeting date that's been.
I suggest just say 6 months. It'll be
6
easier.
months, 6 months today.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Councillor Tiffin, are you happy that your seconder has put forward 6 months from this date?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes, I think that's a great idea.
Is there, through Mr. Mayor, as to the general manager, is there a danger of it reverting to the other approved hours at that point, or will it have to be reviewed and re-voted on? Is that a standard?
I would suggest that the normal practice is that if councillors become aware of lots of complaints during that time period, it would come back to council for a decision. If there've been no complaints during that time period, probably would just settle in as the normal hours of operation.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we could request that we get Susie and Paul and maybe some people who've used the facility to come and talk to us at that time as well. Potentially.
Yeah, Councillor, we are starting to widen the debate.
Sorry, yeah.
We are talking about the hours, moved, seconded. Now it's been slightly amended to a time frame. You have a question, Councillor Kidd?
It's probably point of clarification, Mr. Mayor. This is a new venture. Nobody's been down this road before, or at least in Leeton, and the proponents certainly haven't. Would they having, if there was a review, would they be able to have input into that review? And also, what sort of things would be taken into consideration? Complaints by neighbours, or would it just be an application?
Perhaps I can ask the planning manager.
Yes, and through Mr. Mayor, I'll refer to the planning manager shortly, but I have seen chicken farms where the farmer had to keep a complaints register, and when they got complaints, they had to advise council that they'd got a complaint. So one could add to this that during the trial period, if there've been any complaints received, it needs to be recorded by the group and council needs to be notified. If at the end of that period, there have been complaints, then the matter of the hours of operation would come back to council for consideration, a bit like you're doing tonight.
I feel like, through Mr. Mayor, Councillor Tiffin, I feel like that's a good adjustment to the amendment.
Yeah, I think that what that means is we can give this innovative, generous project the go ahead, and we've still got some control over, managing concerns as we move forward.
That's what the debate should be talking about. We've got the hours in front of us. We've had a debate. We've had a bit of amendment for the time frame on it. Are you happy, council, to put this to a vote now? Right out.
I'd just like to point out a technicality, Mr. Mayor, that the starting of the trial period would need to be specified as from the date of operation, beginning of operations.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be.
Otherwise, the time
Could be gone.
now for Christmas, and it's not really fair.
Yes.
Well, that we take into consideration.
Yes.
I think we just.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a procedure. All right,
Can we
councillor,
just allow the?
we have had an amendment to this report in regard to the hours. The hours are in front of you. I'll put.
We're going to interject. The amendment is not yet real, but the
it's not up on the
The
screen.
conditions just aren't there. The typing is going slower than we can speak.
All right, we'll wait.
I just suggest the word a complaints register needs to be kept and any individual complaint must be reported to council.
That'll happen.
Perhaps we should say 2 business days. Because if it happens Friday night.
And we would have an eye to whether complaints are sort of spurious or not as well, wouldn't we? But we don't need to put that in.
No.
Have we got the full amendment in front of us?
Mr Mayor?
Yeah. Good. Councillor Tiffin, Councillor Morris, can you see it or hear it or?
No, would you please read, Mr Mayor?
All right, good. The above hours of operation for this development for a trial period of 6 months from the commencement of the operations are Monday to Friday, 7 AM to 10 PM. Saturday from 9 AM to 10 PM. Sunday, 9 AM to 9 PM. Public holiday, 9 AM to 6 PM. A complaints register needs to be kept and an individual complaint to be reported to council within 48 hours or, I should mention, shouldn't say or, should I, within 2 business days. Moved by Councillor Tiffin, Councillor Wright. So are we happy to move this forward for a vote? Right, yeah.
Does council have to move it again?
No, we just, you both agreed.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I put the amendment forward, all those in agreement to it? How many we got? 2. Those against? 3, 4. All right, we'll go back to square one again, my fellow councillors. And we've got a shadow amendment, so Councillor Kidd has got a amendment.
Well,
And you need a seconder.
my amendment is that we keep the bones of the last amendment. As in item 4 we voted on just then. With regard to, I just need to see this. Thank you, Sarah. I'm in favour of the trial period of 6 months. I think that gives everyone time to take stock. I think I'm really concerned about burnout for those involved. So I'd like to try some trial hours. Now, I support that and I support the complaints register needs to be kept, etc., etc. And the hours Monday to Friday to be as in the business paper, 7 AM to 7 PM weekdays. Saturday, again, 7 to 7. It's a capacity for one Friday or maybe we'll just do the days first. Sunday, 9 to 5, public holidays 9 to 5. We keep those. And once a month, what did we say before? 9 a.m. till 9:30, one Friday or Saturday per calendar month. Now, I'm just wondering for a point of clarification, would there be any requirement for the group to advertise which day that Friday or Saturday was, or notify immediate neighbours?
There's no requirement, Mr. Mayor. There's no legal requirement.
Thank you. So I'll just read through this precedent for 6 months. Yep. Monday to Friday, 7 to 7. Saturday, 7 to 7. I'm happy to take advice on Saturday 1. Sundays 9 to 5. Public holidays 9 to 5. One Friday or Saturday per month, 9 to 9:30. A complaints register needs to be kept, and any individual complaints to be reported. Council within 48 hours, in brackets 2 business days. I'm pretty happy with that.
That's your foreshadow amendment. You'll need a seconder.
Yes.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, may I ask a question now, or is that after we?
Really, I really need someone to second the clarification, but just the motion. Councillor Tynes the motion, then what happened? Is your question, Councillor Tiffin, is a clarification, or you want to speak for or against the amendment? You need to just take your in time. Was it clarification?
Yeah, I suppose it's after the trial period. Can there be the option to extend the hours if everything's going well? Because if we go 7 to 7, we're actually less than Susie proposed in her compromise during her talk.
I have to talk. We have to debate the amendment in front of us at the moment, right? So I'm going to move in a seconder.
You.
Do you want to add something to that amendment?
So just wondering if we need to add Councillor Tiffin's benefit. The approved hours of operation is for 6 months from commencement of operation. Perhaps we count the council reviews the approved hours of operation for this development after a trial period of 6 months from the commencement of operation.
Is your seconder happy with that? Yeah, Councillor Tyner happy with the.
I also make a clarification for Councillor Kidd.
Yeah, talk to it. Yeah.
Councillor Kidd, the limit of 25 people after.
Certainly, yeah, that's an intention.
Include that.
Yeah, I think it was general consensus. That was what I'm looking for is consensus. Yeah, I think it was general consensus that that's a sensible reasonable amount. It's not a very big house at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yes.
If you're aiming for consensus, can I make a suggestion? I suggest that the hours you present remember that the same as the ones in the recommendation from council. I don't see them as a compromise.
Well, we've added Councillor Wright again, indulgence with me. We've added the trial period, we've added the complaints register, etc. We've added the one Friday or Saturday per calendar month, and given the capacity to review those hours one way or the other after the 6 months.
Through this.
Yeah, hang on, we just want to be
compromise.
Still speaking with the
Councillor
Can I
Kidd.
call a point of order?
Yeah, I'm just going to ask you if you're happy with what he's put forward. Councillor Kidd, you've put forward an amendment. You can talk to your seconder if you're happy with that amendment.
Yes, I'm happy with
And then
that.
we'll debate.
Yeah.
Councillor Tyne, are you happy with those? You are. All right. Now, as you put forward the amendment, can you want to speak to it first? Councillor Kidd.
Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Mayor. Compromise never makes anyone happy. I've done a few of these over the years, and you do learn to see through the obvious and the others to the working matters. I think this is workable. I think the timing is very reasonable. I believe it does give you some social flexibility. I also, and we have the opportunity to review that, and people who wish to complain can complain. I don't know why they would, but they do have that as an option. I also think that this is a new venture. I'm concerned that a volunteer organisation that is functioning on those 5 hours, we can look at burnout issues, and that worries me a little bit. So that's where I'm going with the hours, and I'm really happy to review that and take information on board from parties that are concerned at the end of 6 months.
Thank you, Councillor Kidd. You'll have a right to reply, of course. Before I just move on to those speaking against it, do you want me to read out this amendment again, or are you okay, Councillor Tiff and Councillor Morris? You two are okay up there? All right. We'll move on to someone to talk against the amendment. Councillor Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would suggest that burnout of volunteers is irrelevant to council's remit. And I would also suggest that this proposed amendment does not address what I see as the primary issue with the opening hours, which is that they need to be able to do their work, and they need to be able to do that sometimes after 7 p.m. I'm very disappointed that this is being proposed in a way that assumes the worst of a group of people who are not a new venture, who have worked for many, many years and are entirely trustworthy. And I implore my fellow councillors to not restrict our fellow Leetonians at the Leeton Multicultural Support Group. They've stated that they definitely, absolutely need to be able to work after 7 p.m. We can put restrictions on the number of people after 7 p.m. We don't have to go to 10, we can go to 9, 9:30. That's already been proposed as a compromise by the owner. So I'm just very disappointed that this has come to this.
Thank you, Councillor Wright. Someone to speak for the motion amendment?
I would like to speak for it. First, I'd like to say that no one has once argued, Councillor Wright, to deny Susie this opportunity to add something important to the community. That has not occurred. Period. I accept that the hours mightn't be ideal, but there must be a balance of needs. And I think Councillor Wright has approached this professionally and diligently. I commend people to this motion as it stands, this amendment.
Right. Thank you, Councillor Tyne. Anybody vote? Anybody speak against the amendment?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. Perhaps might I suggest a slight modification rather than speaking against it, so we can land this, because I know there's other things to discuss. But could we
Councillor Tiffin, there's two ways you can approach this. You might ask to move in a second to amend something. If not, you have to have a shadow amendment.
Sorry, so I have to propose a different.
You might suggest to the move in the seconder to slightly adjust their particular amendment.
Yeah.
If not, you have to put forward your own amendment after.
That's what all I was going to say was, could we get a bit of wriggle room and say Monday to Friday 7 till 9, because that, you know, that answers the questions raised by Susie and Paul. But also,
Councillor Kidd, are you happy to have that or not?
I know it's a trial period. Councillor, Mr. Mayor, certainly in summertime, I would not have a problem with that. I think that 9 may be stretching it a bit when we're on Eastern Standard Time over winter. The sun's going down a little bit earlier. I may ask.
Your seconder?
Councillor Kidd, I think 7 p.m. as a trial. It's a trial period. It's in the amendment. That's what I would stick to. Thank you.
All right, Councillor Kidd. So
I think a trial period can cut both ways.
All right, so you're happy to go with it. Now, I was looking for someone to speak against it. Councillor Tiffin asked a question if it could be changed, but we still need to have somebody to speak against the motion. Is that you, Councillor Tiffin?
I think it's important that we reach a decision tonight. I think we all know how important this project is. I do strongly believe we need to give them longer than 7 p.m. So in that regard, I guess I'm speaking against 7 till 7 and asking for a little bit more flexibility from my fellow councillors in this trial period.
Thank you, Councillor Tiffin. Before I put the the amendment, Councillor Morris, you've been quiet. You're okay to be quiet?
So sorry, just to understand, so we're going from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Is that what the amended motion is now?
Yeah, want me to read that again?
Yes, please.
I'll read it again for you. The approved hours of operation of this development for a trial period for 6 months from commencement of our operations are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Oh.
Saturday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sunday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Public holidays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. One Friday or Saturday per calendar month, 9 p.m. to 9 p.m.
1 a.m.
1 a.m. Good. Maximum 25 people after 7 p.m.
Thank you. That's okay. I've just, no, that's all right.
Right, councillors, I think we're going to put the motion there, or the amendment, this amendment. Once again, if amendment's lost, we go back to square one again. And so all in favour of the amendment? Those against? I carry the amendment is carried. Now the amendment goes into the motion for the whole of the, sorry, before we do that, is any other part of this report that a councillor wants to change or alter?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I did have a question about would it be prudent to not force a tarred driveway when the cement one is adequate, just in terms of managing finances? I don't really understand the engineering aspects of it, but that's
so that's the clarification of the of a condition. Are you proposing anything, Councillor Tiffin, or are you just asking that question?
I guess I'm asking it to the floor whether we should make that concession as well.
Mr. Mayor, we seek clarification from the manager.
Yeah. Manager planning, could you comment on that particular request?
Can I ask the manager a question?
Yeah, through me.
Through the Mayor,
Mr. Mayor, reading condition number 9, it gives the applicant options. Bitumen asphalt, concrete, or pavers. So there's options.
So if there's already concrete there, there's no requirement to make an alteration? Or is this for an additional car park that they need to put in?
So to finalize the final design, we need a landscape plan, and that's a condition of consent. So applicant may have to juggle the parking arrangements. There needs to be 3 parking spots on site, and one of them needs to be a disabled parking spot. So that is the final details that needs to be submitted to council once this approval is issued.
So this doesn't have to be decided today?
No, as long as the driveways are sealed and it doesn't generate dust and
I remember you have explained in previous matters, manager, that there are driving on gravel can create noise on ingress and egress of the property. But in this case, there is no gravel driveway.
if it's concrete or bitumen, it's fine.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Francois.
That's clarification. So we have actually I need someone to move this as a motion now. The whole report in front of you, which was put forward by the manager of planning, which has those amendment hours in it. Does anybody want to move that second? Moved by Councillor Tynan, second by Councillor Kidd. Councillor Wright is not supposed to do that.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Right. So we've gone over, who moved, you moved Councillor Tynan. Do you want to speak to the whole of the report? Or are you happy to move on to a vote?
I'm happy to move on to a vote. I think
Yes, all right, good, good. Is anybody against that particular? No? All right, I'm going to move the report in front of you, recommended from the planning manager. Those that say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Declare it carried.
Thank
Well
you.
done, everybody. That's democracy at its best.
Just for the record, so it was councillor Tynan and councillor Kidd that moved and seconded it. And it's as per the staff recommendation, except for condition 2 is the changed condition, which is hours of operation. Just stating that for the public
Yeah,
record.
thank you. All councillors happy with that? Yep.
Excellent.
All right, let's see where we are up to. Still, all votes are recorded.
They've all been recorded.
Yes, thank you, Councillor Kidd. There's a bit of encouragement there, thank you. Right, now we move on to.
Back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's
Okay, fine.
But you can go, yeah.
I'd like to say thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd like to recognise
Thank you, Susie.
former councillor Tony Sissia in the wings of an eye on us. Yes, thank you. Nice to see you. Sorry, I should have recognised me first. I mean, right, we're moving on to notice of motions, right? And notice of motion, candidate Tina has submitted a notice of motion that council engages Positive Solutions to review the forecast Roxy Community Theatre, operating financial and prepare a risk matrix template at the cost of 8,700 plus GST. Councillor Tyler, since you submitted this motion, you are required to move the motion. Is there a seconder for this motion? Second by Councillor Kidd. Any discussion or debate, councillors?
But if I was able to speak on the motion?
Yes.
I rise to speak in strong support of this motion, which is crucial for the future of the Roxy and the financial wellbeing of the community. First and foremost, I want to commend Councillor Tynan for his steadfast commitment to Roxy its intended purpose, while also advocating for a reduction in financial burden for the ratepayers. His dedication is commendable and necessary, especially in light of the current financial challenge we face. Let's address the reality here. The Roxy is currently well over budget, over its original budget, and at this point, stage 2 remains unfunded. This situation underscores the urgent need for external review of the forecast operations of the Roxy. By engaging in thorough examinations of the Roxy's revenue generating capacity, we can ensure transparency and accountability to ratepayers. An external review will not only involve the scrutinising numbers, but also undertake to fully understand how these current financial figures were derived. Equally important is the preparation of a risk matrix template for the operation of the Roxy and its relationship with appointed contractors. This matrix will serve as a vital tool in identifying potential risk and will guide us in mitigating these risks effectively. It is imperative that Council engages in this comprehensive review process to safeguard the ratepayers' investment in the Roxy. We must be vigilant in our efforts to create an intergenerational asset rather than an intergenerational debt. By taking these steps, we can provide clarity and certainty to our ratepayers and ensure the Roxy thrives for generations to come. Thank you.
It's, first, my apologies, I should give Councillor Tyler speak for it, then one against it, then for against it, so that's okay. Does anybody want to speak against this motion? Will be put forward? No? All right then, Councillor Tyler, you want to say anything at all? You happy? Move on to the vote.
Can't do an opportunity to speak for it as well.
If you want to speak for it, yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to speak in favour of the motion. I think it's a very sensible thing to do. I think this is the appropriate time to do it now that the Roxy has had a soft open. I also note that in previous discussions, all councillors supported this measure, and I don't see it as controversial at all.
Thank you, Councillor. Right, is there any other councillor want to speak to this motion while we go? Councillor, his point. Oh, sorry, Councillor. Sorry. No, I have asked him, but maybe have a right to reply. How about right to reply?
Look, I will support this motion because I believe in transparency and accountability. And I recommend the motion to councillors tonight. I do not, however, support or agree with Councillor Tynan's assertions in the preamble that the Roxy business case is speculative and not fit for purpose. I do not believe that it has been any lack of planning that will create a debt burden for future generations. Indeed, quite the opposite. The previous two councils have been very determined to see that this outcome is the very opposite of what Councillor Tynan is suggesting in his preamble. And to suggest otherwise casts aspersions on the character and integrity of previous councillors' staff and the myriad of volunteers involved so far in this project. I'll admit, nobody gets everything right all of the time. It just doesn't happen. So it is prudent to check that everything adds up on the Roxy business plan and an independent consultant is the correct way to go. I personally do not believe the consultant's report will add much to what we already know. And I regret that we will be spending ratepayers' money on a consultant that could be spent otherwise on continued fit out of the theatre rather than the consultant's expenses. But if that is what is required to satisfy a persistent rump of naysayers in the community, so be it. I recommend the motion as it stands to council. Thank you, councillor.
Thank you, councillor. Anybody want to speak for this motion? Councillor Morris, Tiffin, no. Ryder, Mason, no. Councillor T, want to close the debate?
Yes, I'd like to, final thing to say. So when I went through and looked at some of the spreadsheets, there were formulas in there that weren't updated. The sense of risk associated with investments is always quite restricted if you're internal to the whole project itself. And getting an external view is always a valuable thing to ensure money is spent wisely. I believe that this project, this risk analysis and this matrix should have been done at the beginning of the whole project. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tyne. If no more debates, we'll put the motion to councillors. For aye, say aye. Those against? None? Gentlemen, everybody voted for it. Right.
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Now, I've got to declare an interest in the next, I've got to declare interest in the next part, which is the Roxy project management, Roxy. Project 9.1. 9.11. Is that right? Is that?
Yes, it's just the Roxy project build update.
That's right. I need to vacate.
Yep. There's a problem with the heading. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Thank you, Councillor Weston, and good evening, councillors. This item that we're discussing at the moment is item 9.1, Roxy Project Management Report.
For the build specifically.
For the build, yes. Yes, it is a bit vague there, isn't it?
Yes, everything missing, sorry.
So you have a recommendation before you that council receives, and that's update on the Roxy Build project. Do we have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Wright moving, seconder Councillor Morris. Is there anyone who'd like to speak or comment on?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Mayor? Mayor, it's mentioned that there's a $280,000 cost overrun, and that will be pushed out to stage 2. My interpretation of that is that stage 2 will require an extra $280,000 funding that won't be coming from council coffers. Is that correct?
Through you, Mr Mayor, if I understand the question correctly, you're asking where will this forecast overrun come from? And there's 3 options listed here. It'll either come from the OLG grant, or if stage 2 comes in under budget, it can come out of the stage 2 budget. Or thirdly, at the moment, council hasn't reached its voted loan amount. So the third option would be that it's out of council's voted budget. So there's no extra money being requested at all. At the moment, council has not taken out as much of a loan as it has on the books as the voted budget.
Through the Mayor to the GM again. I have a memory that the $1 million from the OLG grant is going to be put to reducing capital of the Roxy loan.
GM.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. Yes, that's exactly correct, and that's exactly what the report continues to say. In the background area, under project cost management, it says with the Office of Local Government 1 million evacuation centre funds now approved, there'll need to be a reconciliation of any additional scope needed there. And the 1 million has indeed been used to reduce the loan amount, but in the event that we get to a position where council needs to find extra money, it has been said in previous reports that council might wish to look at spending that some of that OLG money. But at this point in time, council's not being asked to make any decisions. We're just alerting council to the fact that at the moment for stage 1, there's a forecast overspend, but it might actually all be absorbed in stage 2. So at this point in time, there's no request for extra money. You're shivering. Do you want me to switch that off? Thank you.
Councillor Edwards.
Yeah, I have the questions for General Manager. I'm going to have to reword what I say because he might not be best placed to answer it. So at the last meeting, we were informed that stage 1 of the Roxy Build project is in the commissioning phase. And my understanding that the official opening date is in March. I might be incorrect there, I might be remembering something else, which we are all looking forward to. As I'm not in the construction field, could you please provide some details about what further commissioning is involved? Does the building require any more licenses and permits to become fully fit for purpose? And would this actually result in any possibility of more delays to the official opening? If you can't answer that, I'm happy for that to be taken on notice or.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm happy to answer those questions. At this point in time, I've been given no reason at all why the 1st of March date couldn't be reached. The commissioning is mainly to do with the commissioning of sound and lighting and automated curtain opening and closing and the technical capabilities of the building and the ability of the building from an NBM and an internet perspective to download movies and to do gaming on site. All of those are the kinds of things that are being tested through the commissioning phase.
So booking system, General Manager.
And the booking system, yes, yes.
That's my question.
I believe, did you want to add something to that, Director? No, all good. Councillor Morris or Councillor Tiffin, did you have any questions? I haven't missed a hand ever. Sarah, you're okay. Tracy, you're fine.
Yes, thank you. All fine.
Okay, thank you. All right. Wonderful. Councillor Mayton.
To Deputy Mayor, I'm not sure who to, but maybe to the General Manager. Just a quick one. The neon light on the right-hand side is still out. Is that, where are we up to with that being maybe repaired or?
I'll have to take that on notice. I don't know.
That's fine. Yeah,
Is it a CRM?
CRM? I thought there was. I thought it had been mentioned that it was out and not working.
I'll investigate. Yeah, I'll investigate.
One through if for some reason it's not been officially noted somewhere.
It's a very good point, Councillor, because sometimes we think that somebody else has reported things and it's better to perhaps report them twice than to miss out. And the new councillors are all familiar with the CRM process. Okay, if you go to your emails, you can go to councillor requests. If you start typing in, go to councillor requests, and that will end up on the lovely Miss Graham's desk, and she'll deal with that promptly for you. It is important you know that can be done. So please use it, and you can use it for potholes and whatever else you like. No more questions, Councillor Wright, you're fine? Okay, well, we might put the recommendation, which is just basically that we're noting it. I'll just double check that. Better scroll down there. And the recommendation is the council receives and notes the update on the Roxy Build project. All those in favour? Okay, none. I can't see anyone against. Fantastic. Councillor Weston, I will vacate the chair now and Councillor Weston can return. Oh, no, he doesn't have to declare for the
not for the
community report. No, of course not. Okay.
Thank you, Councillor Kidd. Right, now where we're up to? We're up to 9112. Right?
Yes, 912 on page 17.
All right. The report's in front of you there, councillors. Do you have a mover and a seconder for that recommendation of that report? I move Councillor Morris, I saw that. Councillor Mayton, sorry. I missed you all very, very keen and very good. So we've got a recommendation, we've got a seconder, so someone to speak for it. Councillor Morris, you want to speak for Councillor Morris?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, look, I'm happy to accept the report and speak to it. Some of the discussed items have now come to fruition, which has been fantastic if those who've been able to attend or be part of it. I think the community were very excited to have the first major event held and very successfully. We've also had the George Conson bust opening, which was a wonderful donation, and it was wonderful to actually hear from his son Don, and his stories of the Roxy and his father's vision that he's watching, with comfortably on the side, and with I got the impression of great joy that he's seeing it get another life and take it well forward into the future for generations to enjoy. So I think they're the main highlights I just wanted to touch on. How wonderful the doors are open. We're getting onto business, and great things being prepared for the opening gala concert, and that vision's being realised. So that's all, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick update on just some of those discussion points that have now. And the other thing I did fail to comment on was the volunteer engagement, and the third induction session has just been had. So wonderful to see people in the community that are as passionate and want to support to the best of their ability in their capacity as a volunteer to see our Roxy in its full capacity going forward. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Morris. Anybody vote against this particular motion? No? Anybody for the motion?
Can we ask questions or comments?
Oh, so was that a question, was it?
Yeah. I do have a couple of ones, sorry. Through the mayor to the general manager, or whoever is best placed to answer me. I've all seen the Community First program materials, which is great, but I just wanted to gain an understanding of how much the programs cost to design, print and distribute, and where the funding was sourced. That's my first question. Did you want to answer that first and then I can move on to the second, or?
Through Mr. Mayor, it's out of the voted budget of the operations. The exact dollar amount I'm unsure of, but it comes out of the Roxy Ops budget.
Too easy, thank you. And my second question regards the resolution of this council to explore options around the operational management of the Roxy, which was made at the ordinary meeting on the 29th of October. Is there any update to where we might be with that?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the expression of interest has been finalised, and to my understanding, there's it's been distributed through an organisation called Arts Hub, which is where all the different creative people get to see when people are calling for expressions of interest. If it hasn't happened already, it's about to happen. But I have recently read the final version of the expression of interest.
I'm glad to hear that. As councillors, are we able to see that EOI form and get an understanding of how the EOI? Oh, actually, don't worry. You've already answered that other part.
I'm happy to circulate. Yeah.
And does it cost anything to do the EOI on Arts Hub, or is that like a non-for-profit?
Sorry, I know it does on Arts Hub. Yes, it costs about $100, more or less. So I don't know the exact amount, but it's a bit like going through a news. Like even when we put it in the newspaper, it'll probably cost us more money in the newspaper than on Arts Hub. Yeah.
Thank you.
That was a question. So I'm still looking for someone to speak against the motion. No, somebody for the motion. Right reply to finish off, Councillor Morris. We have to move straight on to.
I think we're happy to move straight on to the vote. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, Councillor, you see the recommendation in front of you was moved and seconded. All in favour, say aye. Those against, carried. Thank you. Right, moving on. Oh, can you all hear me? Moving on to 9.1.3. Just before we move on, I must also say, look, fantastic, the volunteers. See three lots of volunteers. over 80 volunteers at the Roxton. That's really good. Well, moving on to 9.1.3, which is on page 20. The can we move in a second, please, for the recommendation? Moved by Councillor Kidd, moved by Councillor, second by Councillor Wright. I'd just like to add a couple of things in there, if you don't mind. Oh, before, can I speak for it? Councillor, you want to speak?
You may.
Yeah, look, I think this is very important. Like going way back, a bit of history is that there was two associations, one for the country and one for the city. And then we were joined together and we lost our voice, I believe. We lost our voice about certain things in the city compared to the country. So this association of mayors is a great forum to get ideas across. And we're there next to Parliament and we can actually talk to the ministers. I ended up talking to the Minister for Skills and Tertiary and Steve Warren and put forward the problem about skill training in the bush. So I think it's a great thing to have. Any questions? Yes.
So I've got a lot of questions tonight. Just proves that we all read the meeting, the agenda. Through you, Mr. Mayor, to whoever may answer my question. I note in the financials clause of this item that states the cost of membership of the CMA and attendance at CMA meetings are budgeted. I do think moving forward, these financials should be clearer and it should be in the first part of the motion. It should state here that the membership of this year is $1,650. Then for transparency, I believe we should see how much it costs for the mayor and the general manager to attend. Do we have those figures on hand? If not, I'm happy for that to be told to me at any other time.
So, Councillor Edward, would you like to know the cost?
Yeah.
Pretty clear the membership fees were in the payment.
Yes, but I think it should also be where it says financial, not just in the paper where it's the minutes of the.
So, is it a comment or a question?
It's also a question asking about how much it costs for.
That's okay.
I'm happy for that to be answered whenever, if it's. Yeah, it doesn't have to be answered tonight.
All right, that's it.
Through Mr. Mayor, and we can certainly every year when the council nominates its budget and adopts its budget, all these things are itemised in there. So it's been our practice to say it's within the budget, but if council would like it, we can put the number back in here as well, just so that it's fresh in everyone's mind.
Yeah, that's good. And also I'd like to also comment that the Minister for Local Government has been a mayor for 30 years, I think, in Redfern. Right? Yeah, he wants to restore some integrity into councillors. It's a reputation for local government, you know. I think it's great, you know, because we're always getting tired of the bad brush, you know what I mean? Should not be fault. All right, we'll move on to, did I move that? Did we pass that?
We need to put the motion.
Put the motion, yes. All in favour of the recommendation? Aye. Those against?
Aye.
Thank you for my indulgence. Right, next one is 9.1.4 draft community strategy plan. Moved by Councillor Kidd, seconded by Councillor Wright. Sorry, I'm pacing all around the time. Right, so you see the recommendation on page
37.
37. Right. There's the recommendations, point 1.2. So we've moved in second.
Mr. Mayor, may I ask a question?
Sure.
Sorry, just with planning so far in advance, which is fine, the 13 or 14 months, should something arise that we need to change a date, what's the time period, the time notice that needs to be given to all councillors to make sure it's acceptable?
Sorry, through Mr. Mayor, Councillor Morris, are we on the community strategic plan?
Oh, sorry, I apologise. I've jumped ahead. I apologise. Take two.
Okay, we're all getting hungry, I think. All right, we're on 9.1.4 draft community strategy plan. We had a move and a seconder. Do you want to speak to Councillor Kidd before we move on? No?
No, but I did notice some email traffic today about whether we get to see all the comments, and I
Oh,
can
yeah.
assure councillors that they will be inundated probably with many hundreds of more pages to read before this process is finished. So don't worry about information. You'll be sick of it.
All right, anybody speak against this recommendation? Right, yeah. Those against, those for it, councillor Wright?
I'd just like to say that this is a huge body of work, and even though it's not a completely from scratch report, I want to acknowledge the huge amount of work that council staff and councillors have put in, making sure that this report is the plan is meaningful. And I would also note that for future reports like this, in future terms, we need to be more attentive with our consultation process to make sure we do have a wider participation. But I acknowledge that we've discussed that and that we have found problems and solutions to those problems. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Tyler has had up first, didn't you? Or you, Councillor Edwards, you're speaking for it, yeah?
I have another question. I noticed an external consultant was employed in helping to develop this draft. I just want to know, I'm probably crossing into commercially sensitive now. How much did the external consultant cost to employ? Or yeah, if it's commercially sensitive, yeah, leave on.
Through Mr. Mayor, it's not commercially sensitive, although I don't have the number in my head. I'm happy to circulate that. And at the end of the day, yes, we planned for this to happen because every new term of council, we need to have a new community strategic plan, and it takes more resource than what we have available. But yes, I'm happy to circulate to councillors the cost. I think the bill came in today, but it didn't come to me.
Good, thank you though.
I'll find out.
Question about notice, you want motion?
I'm just happy, I'll email you. So,
Yeah.
lucky.
Yeah. All right, we've had that, the recommendation in front of us, moved, seconded, and I couldn't find anybody to speak against it. Anybody for it before I put the motion? Oh, sorry, councillor. Sorry, you want to speak for it, councillor Tiffany?
Yeah, I just wanted to make it through. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to make a couple of comments. Yeah, meaningful consultation is a challenge for so many different bodies, including government bodies. I think there's a huge amount of effort that goes into trying innovative ways, but there's always room for exploring other avenues and methods. And I also just wanted to acknowledge, after discussions today, as I understand it, this is the draft clearly, and there will be, there could have been opportunities tonight to sort of add things and discuss things. I think that, or we can make submissions during the public consultation process if we think that anything is missing from this, glaringly, obviously. So I'm going to hold over until then to think about if there is anything that should be in there that isn't. I'm not saying there is. That is the case. And yes, if you need any help with editing and proofreading, General Manager, I'm happy to help.
Thank you, councillor Tiffany. I'd like to put the motion forward. Those in favour? Aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. Thank you, councillors. Now, moving on to corporate matters. That is item 9.2.1. It's a proposed timetable for ordinary council meetings for the period of February 2025 to March 2026. Councillor Kidd.
Move that, Mr. Mayor.
Moved by councillor Kidd, second by councillor Edwards. Thank you. Anybody who want to speak to it? So, yeah. Okay, councillor Kidd.
Mr. Mayor, I think just for the new councillors, as it draw your attention to the fact that as it says in the business paper, these things depend on events, sometimes out of our control. And, as a council, we try and get notice to all councillors in public as soon as we realise there's an issue.
I'm here.
in a timely manner. Sorry, there.
All right, councillor Kidd, anybody against this particular motion? No, anybody in favour again? No? Happy to move on? Put the motion, those are aye, those against, carried, thank you. Moving on to page 43. Next item provides details of the performance of council's investments portfolio for the period ending 30th November 2024 on page 43. Can I have a mover? Moved by councillor Kidd, seconded by councillor Tyler. Councillor Kidd, you want to say a few words?
No, Mr. Mayor, it's very pleasant to see. Nothing significant, but very pleasant to see those interest incomes outpacing what we'd predicted, and also the sale of water has been fairly healthy this year as well. So a little bit of extra income for general fund.
Thanks, councillor Kidd. Anybody speaking against this particular motion? No? Anybody speak for it? With a hand?
Was that, it's the time to ask questions? Through the mayor to the general manager or anyone who may be able to answer my questions. I am pleased to note that the council has earned $51,000 more in interest than previously forecasted. I just wanted to gain an understanding of where that money goes now. Does that remain in the investments to accrue more, or is that returned to the general fund, or does it go to pay debt? Just want to understand where that money goes.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So yeah, it gets reinvested in the investments here.
And I just want to note that the investment advisor for the month of November 2024 is Ardo Advisory. This is verging into the same question I had previously, so I'm happy for it to take it on notice. How much it costs council to pay for those advisors. I'm happy to just do that as an email though, so yeah.
Right, you're happy, councillor Edwards? Yep. All right, good. So that was a question. Nobody gets the motion. The motion, all in favour? Aye, those against? Thank you, carried. Next one, capital works, remember the light item we want to do? I'm not sure councillor Tiffin, councillor Morris got that. It was a late item, it's an update of a late item, which is capital works, major projects. I think it was something small. Can I have a move in a second, and maybe moved by councillor, second by councillor Edwards.
Is it this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we can explain what the difference is.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Becky, could you explain?
I'm just going to, I made an assumption on what the debt structure is, and that was something we last week. Is any comment relating to
Councillor Tiffin and Morris, did you hear that?
Sorry, no, it was very unclear.
Yeah, he's going to the mic now.
I omitted everything related to comments I'd made around the alteration to the debt structure. I'd made those comments without discussion with the CFO. I've taken all of those comments out and I'll leave those with the CFO.
All right, we're going to move in a seconder and an explanation why there is a change. Do I have anybody who wants any questions, clarifications? Clarification? Yep. Councillor Tyler.
From the tour that went through the mayor to the GM or the appropriate person, from the tour that we did, I noted one of the things that pricked my ears was the issue of the transformers. Is there any update on that?
Through the chair, yes, there is. Through the good graces of the deities at Essential Energy, we are now gifted with the first 2 weeks of February as the installation. So they won't interfere with
Okay, councillor Tyler. Any questions? Do I have a right to reply? Okay, councillor Kidd?
Yes.
No. Happy to move forward to put the recommendation. All in favour? Aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. Moving on to, I think, where's my timetable, gone
We now jump to
confidential, is it? Yeah.
no confidential, the activity report,
Well, yeah, all right,
on page 132, Mr. Mayor.
132, so we'll go right to the very end. I'll go around the table, I'll start with councillor Kidd. All right,
Thank you,
find
Mr.
my
Mayor.
place.
I'll be very quick because it's a lot to cover. And to Sarah, I'll give you a written copy of one. Roxy's first soft launch was absolutely amazing. I thought a red eye basically from Singapore, drove from Melbourne, had a shower and went to that and just floating away. Councillor Tong, you were there as well. I'm sure you feel the same as me. Granny's in the mosh pit, always a good sign in a community event. I've been very privileged this last few weeks to go to the Graylee School Presentation Day and the St Joseph's Day as well, and they were wonderful. Also, Australia Day Committee. I was very privileged to speak at the unveiling of the bust of George Conson. And as Councillor Morris said before, it was really great to get the endorsement from the family on that. I think that is so important. We've got that link right back to 1929. We also were very privileged the other day, and other councillors can take longer if they wish, on being able to do an inspection of the progress of the golf club clubhouse. Just a wonderful asset that will be. Last night, a number of us, Councillor Wright and Councillor Edwards and I, attended a dinner with the Chinese delegation from Hunan province. We got the name of the county at the moment. Yongshan. That's correct. That's correct. And its claim to fame is that's where actually the Avatar films were shot. I had a little bit of trouble with the interpreter working out where the people with blue faces. Get talking about the people with the blue faces, but anyway, we worked it out that it was Avatar in the end. So that was lovely, and I also did meet with them this morning, General Manager and our directors as well, and that was a great privilege. Thank you very much. Oh, before I finish, we're coming to the end of the year. I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I wish for you and your families a prosperous and a year ahead that where your dreams are fulfilled as we all do. Special thank you to our staff. You guys do an amazing job. I don't know how you remember what you do and how you do it, and how you put up with all my inane questions that someone else that I probably should have read better around. So thank you very much for your efforts and all of those that work for you, the pride they take in our town, the presentation of our town, and the effort to make Leeton just that little bit better is certainly very much appreciated at my level. But that's it for now from me, and see you next year.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There were a couple of the items I had in my activity report I was unable to attend, but overall, I did attend several events, and I really enjoyed the presentation day that I was able to attend at Yanko, at Whitten Primary School, and there was some very energetic and dancing, which was very sweet to see. It's lovely to see kids feeling safe and confident. And I also really enjoyed the cultural and intellectual exchange that we had last night with the delegation from Leeton County. I think it's very interesting that they were coming here to learn more about agricultural techniques. And as with the delegation from Bhutan earlier in the year, I think that it's so interesting how many people, places in the world are coming to Leeton to actually learn about agriculture. It seems like we do it very well.
Thank you very much. That's right. Move over to the screen. Councillor Tiffin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have had lots of interesting experiences in the last few weeks. It's really fantastic and so interesting to be now on the Roxy Redevelopment Committee, and to, you know, enhance my inside view of what's going on at the Roxy and listen to the fabulous plans that are coming along. Jake's plans for the opening concert are just very ambitious, very mind-blowing. They're looking for talent, so everybody should maybe brush off their dancing shoes. I loved being Councillor Tiffin at the Yanco Public School Awards Day. It was quite, it was quite a moment to be greeted like a serious dignitary and then to shake hands with all the little kids. And especially really moving, given that Yanco Public School has been through so much in the last, you know, year or so, and to see, you know, well-dressed, confident, encouraged children, you know, being affirmed by their teachers. It was, yeah, it was a very meaningful experience. And also thank you to Councillor Wright for stepping in to fill in for me at Wamoon because I couldn't be there. Thank you. I hope you had a great time. Yeah, and other than that, I've had had a few planning meetings on arts projects, the sort of related to council business, a lot of conversations with constituents. I've started some really basic groundwork on the councillor blog that we talked about early in the piece. It might need some more discussion, but it might be an interesting way to share with the community what we go through as councillors. And I also just want to say a special thank you to Deputy Mayor Michael Kidd for coming to attend the Riverina Writing House 3rd birthday event last week. And we had a very sort of civilised evening. And speaking of people visiting from across the world to come and see Leeton, we had an academic and a poet from Texas who made a return visit to Leeton because he loves it so much, and he really believes in, you know, the arts and cultural push that is going on here that all of you have been so instrumental in, and acknowledging that Mr. Mayor was too busy being Mr. Mayor, but thank you, George, for thinking of us. And yeah, look forward to, sorry, I'm not going to be there for dinner if you guys are still going, but thank you very much for all your support, and I'm looking forward to the next step in our journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Morris.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to say thank you to the General Manager, directors and staff for the year, and wish everyone a safe and happy Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Morris. Councillor Edwards.
On top of the normal conversations I have with constituents and other meetings I go to, the official council things I've done include on the 2nd of December, I went to the Yanco meeting for the Twilight Markets debrief with, that was with Councillor Mayton. Then on the 8th of December 2024, I did Light Hut Leeton, where I sold raffle tickets with the Manager Governance and Corporate Customer Service. That was awesome. Then on the 9th of December 2024, I attended on behalf of Council St. Francis de Sales annual speech and prize giving assembly. And then on the 9th of December 2024, I also attended the unveiling of the bust of George Constant at, I hope I pronounced that right, the Roxy Theatre. Then on 10th of December 2024, I undertook judging duties for the Light Up Leeton Christmas display competition along with Councillor Wright. And then on the 11th of December 2024, I attended the Light Up Leeton Committee meeting debrief. Then on the 16th of December 2024, we did the site inspection of the Leeton Golf Clubhouse. And on 16th December, I also attended, which was yesterday, sorry, I also attended the official dinner with the delegation from Yongshan County in China. I'd also like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and also a Happy Hanukkah too.
Councillor Tinning.
Tynan.
I've been practicing.
The first thing I would like to say briefly about the Greece presentation is that there's an Italian dialect word called boia, and these young people getting up in there do far more boia in their bodies and souls than me, because walking up there, really, really impressive.
So you're old.
Yeah.
I also went to the Festa della Madonna, where I kind of served two functions there. One was to help do stuff, but the other was just to be a council representative. It's a big Italian thing, and you know, you get talked to a lot. I went to the St. Joseph's presentation day, the unveiling of the bust, and the golf club review.
Thank you, Councillor Mason.
Yes, on the 2nd of December, along with Councillor Edwards, I attended the Yankotown Improvement meeting at the club. On the 9th of December, I went to the unveiling of the bust of George Conson at the Roxy, and that was probably, I hadn't been in there for a little while, so it was great to actually have a look at the facility, and yeah, definitely quite impressed by what I've seen, and the accessibility, I think, to the wider public is a massive plus, because I think that'll help get more people in the doors. On the 16th, which was just last night, I attended the Parkview Public School end of year presentation. Once again, that was a great event. Just kind of worked through tracks with a child there, but yeah, for the opportunity to on behalf of the school. Lastly, I just want to thank all the council staff, all of my fellow councillors for all of their hard work this year. I know there's been a lot, and I know there'll be a lot coming into 2025, but we can all have a great break and come back a bit refreshed in the year.
Thank you.
As a new councillor, I'd actually like to say thank you for the tolerance and patience that all of the older councillors have shown me and others as we find our feet. That's the hard part. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. I'll be very brief because our food's at 9:30 on the table currently. So I believe fantastic community event, fantastic. Australia Day Awards. People, remember, good people out there. Australia Day, we need nominations. Make sure we get nominations. Bit of a typo, I didn't get to the Leeton Golf Club opening. And I must ask my fellow councillors, thank you very much for helping me out. It's a very busy time for me, unfortunately, with my business, but thank you for helping me out everywhere around the place. I really appreciate that. And it's great to have the new councillors on board and the old councillors there as well. It's a nice, different flavour, a bit different. I went to the Ramoon School, went to Leeton Public School, Leeton High School, Incorrect High School, and the Met School, all coming together. Merry Christmas, everybody. You really enjoy yourself. Keep away from the snow. No snow. And I must thank the staff for helping me through these early days as being a mayor, and my fellow councillors for helping me through these early days. I think we've got a great council. We've got great vision. We've got ideas. We're energetic, and I think we're going to go someplace. So thank you very much. Thank you.
You could have a move in second.
I need a move. I need a move in a second, please. Councillor Mason, second by Councillor Edwards. Thank you. All done.
We're not going to do that.
I'm going to close the meeting at 9:20.